Travis Solo, we're still here for now. You know, this underpass is flooded, but you know, one of the things is when you have that rainfall, and a lot of it falls very quickly, a lot of areas in the city of New Orleans tend to flood. This canal underpass is no stranger to flooding. You can see behind me that area looks like more water than when we last spoke to you, like 2 minutes ago, just at packing this underpass here. I can tell you that NOPD was a little closer because there's so much water here. This cruiser that we see right here has backed up a little bit because that water is just coming up here at the canal underpass. Again, this is the problem area we see time and time again that floods. You have the Carrollton underpass, you have the canal underpass, you also have the underpass at Franklin Avenue. These are the areas you want to avoid. Granted, you should not be on the streets because you should be inside, you know, but if you're driving around, you should avoid this area. A lot of streets in the city of New Orleans flooded right now. We have an NOPD officer right here, just got out of his cruiser right here. Matthew, turn this way. Just checking things out right here. He's flashing a light at some of these manholes where you see water coming out of. You can see he's working right here. I know he was in his cruiser, moved it back a little bit, but they are monitoring this area. I can tell you there's an NOPD cruiser on both sides of the canal underpass right here. Not many people in the area. I did see some people coming down this side street, but they looked here, turned around again. You want to avoid these problem areas. You know that a few inches of water, if you drive through, can take your car away. But again, the city of New Orleans is allowing you to park on neutral grounds. That's why we have a truck going the opposite way over there, Matthew. Look at that right there. A truck on the opposite side going through the canal underpass, through all of that water right there. Matthew, can we get this here? Look like, let's see if this vehicle gets stalled right here. And this vehicle that we're looking at right now is going the opposite direction on the other side of the canal underpass. And just look at that. That's a pickup truck, and that water is almost to the window of that pickup truck right there. We're live on TV right here. There's officer. Excuse me, officer. Let's see if we can grab this officer. Excuse me, officer. Sir? Officer. They have a truck right here. Okay, the officers we're looking at this truck right here, Matthew. We have this officer we just alerted about this pickup truck going into the canal underpass. And you can see that vehicle right there is submerged right here. We're going to stay on this for just a little while just to see what happens. We alerted the officer. The officer is backing up now. Not sure if the officer on the other side of the canal underpass is able to see what's going on. But look like that pickup truck right there is just floating. It seems like one person is in that vehicle right now at the moment. The officer is moving right now. Let's see if we can get over here a little bit just to see who's in this vehicle or how many people. Yeah, that vehicle is submerged right here. You can see that water, if we can still see the shot, that water is almost covering the hood of this pickup truck right here. Still waiting to see if those officers are going to get out and help right now. Looks like one person is inside this vehicle. This is what you do not want to do when you're driving around the city of New Orleans. Granted, you should be inside, as these underpasses are very just right here. Trying to see what's going to happen right here. I can tell you that the officer backed up a little bit. Let's see if we can get some help here. But I can tell you right now at the canal underpass, one pickup truck just drove through the canal underpass. That hood of that vehicle is submerged. One person is inside that vehicle right now, waiting to see if officers will kind of help. Oh, Anchors want to ask a question. Go ahead.
So, Jonah, you know, you said there was a barricade there blocking the street. Again, can you just describe for us how this happened? Was this truck avoiding the barricade coming from the other side? How did he end up on a street that was blocked?
So yes, Solo. So right now we're on the right side of the street. That vehicle was on the opposite side of the street, driving in the wrong direction into that flood water right there. We do have the officer out of his vehicle right now, trying to see what's going to happen. But that person just submerged, and their vehicle is actually turning around right now as we speak. One person is in that vehicle, just look like they're stuck right here. But that's a lot of water this vehicle just drove into right here. We have that officer walking around trying to figure out what's going on. Trying to see if there's more officers that are going to come out here to help. The officer's walking toward me right now, and that wind is also picking up, you know, as we talk. And that vehicle looks like it's just floating backwards now. If you can get a good look at this vehicle, you can see the nose of that vehicle is down toward the water with the back of the pickup kind of up a little bit. We have the officer walking right behind me right now, walking toward that vehicle. We'll see if that officer can help that person get out of that truck right here. But this is that Canal Boulevard, and this is what we do not want to see, especially live on TV right here. If you can avoid these areas and stay inside, there's a shelter-in-place order right now. The city of New Orleans is telling you not to be out because this is a very dangerous situation. Like you all said, we're 3 hours now since landfall, and that system is just dumping water, and that wind is just picking up on here. Let's see. Officers walking around, see if I can get around to see what's going on. Okay. So yeah, the officer's just kind of assessing the situation. I'm going to try to get close to the officer just to see what's going on around here. Okay, one person is in his vehicle. Let's see if we can get close to see what's going on.
Hey,
if you can.
No, Jonah, we hear you with Devin and Derek. We have a
point of our camera. Yeah, Travis, I can hear you all.
Yeah, Jonah, just be careful. But what's unfortunate is a police officer has to go rescue somebody here for going around a barricade, which is the most unfortunate thing here. But we don't see you anymore, so definitely be careful. Yeah. Don't go out too far because those waters do get deep. We're going to turn you over to Devin and Derek because while we're watching this, we're also going to talk about a flash flooding situation, obviously, in New Orleans.
Well, our friends at the National Weather Service have to be watching this and issued a flash flood emergency for you, Jonah. Well, go ahead, Jonah.
Okay, yeah, I'm still here. So I'm actually on a higher ground than an officer. But again, even with the officer has to worry about his safety as well before trying to rescue someone. And that's the kind of thing that we don't want to see. When you put yourself in these situations, you also put other people like first responders in dangerous situations themselves, because now this officer has to possibly go into this water and try to get this person out of this vehicle who was driving, again, the wrong way and drove straight into the canal underpass, and now they are stuck. And I can't tell you that this vehicle is just becoming submerged by the second as we talk. Again, not many more officers out here. I know we have this officer who was in the cruiser blocking off this side. There was another officer on the other side of the canal underpass blocking traffic, but this person literally drove down the wrong side of the road and right into that water.
Still in the vehicle right now?
Yes, Travis, the person is still in the vehicle right now. The windows are up. It's a bit hard to make out if it's a woman, but I can tell you, I only see one person inside the vehicle right now. You can see the image now on the front of the window of this pickup truck. The front of the pickup truck, the hood is completely submerged underwater with the back of the pickup truck in the air and against a pole right now. We have this officer who's is trying to do. He's the only officer here at the moment.
Hopefully he's calling for additional assistance. This is why we have those high water vehicles and boats available and the resources available by crew members and for the rescue operations. But
in a car. I think we're going back to Jonah. Jonah, what's the latest on this situation?
So what? Well, Travis, Acela, we did move our vehicle. Oh my goodness, looked like something just blew here. We just heard that loud noise. But take a look at that vehicle. You can see that vehicle is becoming completely submerged with that person still inside that vehicle. We just had some people who come by and say they're trying something to possibly break the window to get that person out, but that person is still stuck in that vehicle right now. We have the police officer that's over here trying to do anything to help, but again, this officer has to remain safe. He's running right now, trying to get help. We're starting to see more first responder vehicles in the distance, but again, that water is just coming up so quickly here at the canal underpass. Again, one person stuck inside that vehicle. You can see it right here, but you wonder how this person got into this vehicle when this area was blocked off. I can tell you, we watched that SUV, the pickup truck going to the canal underpass from the opposite direction, going against traffic when this area was blocked off. I know this is what we stress about when you have these situations. Avoid these underpasses, listen to the rules, stay inside, stay off the roads. But here we are with a possible rescue situation happening right now live on television. Again, that water just coming up so quickly. We have an officer who was here trying to help, but again, the officer has to stay safe. We have a Good Samaritan right here, has something in his hand, hopefully trying to break that window. But again, we don't want these people to go into this water and also put themselves in danger. But a Good Samaritan right here just trying to do whatever he can off his shoes and socks with something in his hand, about to go into that water right now. Yes, question.
Correct here, and we're getting rainfall totals from our Doppler radar showing anywhere between like 6 to almost like 8 inches. What are your estimates out there, you think?
Actually, the canal underpass, we're talking about feet. Or you can see right now that guy breaking that window, but this is feet of water right here. We're talking about a pickup truck, a big pickup truck that's submerged at the canal underpass here. This is not no small vehicle. We can see that person look like they're climbing out of the back seat right now. That guy just broke that window. We're seeing some kind of movement happening. That person, yeah, I can actually see that person right now climbing over the seat, coming out of that vehicle right now. That person, yeah, actually coming out of the window. There it is. That Good Samaritan right there broke that window, pulling that guy right now. More officers, look like firefighters are also coming in right now. It's a man that was inside that vehicle. Look like he's a bit stuck right now, trying to get out.
Yeah, Jonah, this is, we're staying on this because obviously the person in the gray rain suit just saved that person's life, Jonah. Wait, hang on.
That Good Samaritan helping. Yes, that's a life-saving measure right here. That guy holding on to the pole. This is a life-saving Good Samaritan right here.
And Jonah, look, you're right. For anybody who has been there, you're talking 6 or 7 feet of water there in that underpass. And that person, Jonah, hopefully you can talk to him, not the driver, but the Good Samaritan, because he literally just saved that person's life, because more than likely, there's a chance that guy wasn't getting out of that vehicle, and that would have been all over.
Yeah, as we see NOFD and firefighters now heading out into the water with a stick, but already this Good Samaritan helped to rescue this gentleman in this vehicle. Such a scary situation. We were all holding our breath, praying for his safety and praying that he is okay as his car slowly submerged on live TV. We saw his truck go slowly underwater. We have all been so scared for him, but right now, again, if you are just joining us, this gentleman has been rescued from his pickup truck that was submerged in this underpass on Canal in high water and flooding situation right now. He has been rescued. He's coming out right there. You can see crews are out there getting him out. Jonah?
Yeah, Jonah, try to catch up with that Good Samaritan if you can.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir. What's your name?
Myles.
Your name is Myles? Myles, what made you just jump into action to help save this guy's life? We're talking about this vehicle was submerged.
I just had to go in there and do it. I'm a nurse, so you got to save lives, right?
And people don't know, but you actually came to me to ask me what was going on and went back to grab something to bust a window. So you were really adamant about saving his life.
Of course, you got to, right?
I mean, and we have the guy right here, but thank you. And what's your last name? Sorry, Myles?
Crawford.
Thank you so much, Myles. You did a good deed. Thank you so much for saving that man's life. And you can see that man right here going around our vehicle right now with New Orleans Police Department and NOFD. But again, that vehicle is submerged. Honestly, you're only seeing the top of that vehicle right now. And Matt, if you turn this way, you can see that guy is walking away right now with NOPD and NOFD. Again, life-saving right here on live television. But again, this is what you want to avoid. That rain still coming down heavy, flooding this area. We're looking at the area now, and that water is just rising. So much water just falling right here. And again, you don't want to go around police officers or barricades and drive through underpasses, as this can be the outcome. This guy driving down the wrong way, going into an underpass, getting stuck and submerged, and having to be saved by a Good Samaritan right here. This is what we really don't want. This is what we've been stressing. If you don't have to go outside, don't go outside. Always remember to turn around and don't drown.
Yeah, such a close call there, and so happy to see the gentleman rescued. I know that you haven't talked to him, but just seeing from where you are, how does he look? Does he look, he doesn't look injured to me, but how did he look to you?
Sella, he didn't look injured to me, but he did look a bit shaken up getting out of that vehicle. I know when police walked him up here, it was just like he a shock on his face, like he didn't know what happened. Now they're walking that guy back that way, I guess to check on him to make sure he's good. But Matthew, if you look this way right here, I want you guys to see that car, that SUV, that pickup truck is now completely submerged. You can literally just see a light from the vehicle underwater. So that just tells you how deep this water is, how serious this rescue was. Right here, thank God that Good Samaritan jumped into that water to break that window and get that guy out of that vehicle. But again, we saw that vehicle go in, we saw that vehicle slowly become submerged, and now you can't see that pickup truck at all, just to show you how much water is right here at the canal underpass. And we're talking about feet of water. And and we have that that guy is now taking away. Some other Good Samaritans just coming out just to check to see what happened, you guys.
Yeah, Jonah, look, I know you're going to get on top of this. It's brutal rain out there right now. We don't know if that was a medical emergency, a senior citizen, if it was somebody, I hate to even say it, who may have been impaired. We don't know. But whoever it was, they drove around that balcony. I'm sure you'll get to the bottom of it. Also, the man told you his name, the Good Samaritan. Myles Crawford, I believe, was his name. I mean, look, that man deserves all the credit in the world because he literally just saved a life. And we captured it here on live TV. So
with seconds to spare, I mean, you guys saw that vehicle is now completely underwater. If he had not gotten to that gentleman, the older gentleman, on time, with moments to spare, we don't know what we would have seen as we were all holding our breath and just really, I have never said so much prayer while I'm on live TV, hoping that he is safe. And right now, everyone, he's okay. He has been rescued. Firefighters have taken him to the hospital, so he is fine.
Yeah, Jonah, sir, if you can get us an update now that this is cleared or is clearing, if you can get us an update around the parameters. Look, I know it's initial stages of this. We all just watched it live with all of our viewers here. But if you can find out the circumstances possibly. And look, do they even cite the man? Do they give him a ticket? Do they arrest him? What happens? Because clearly he went around a barricade. Nobody should do that. And he put himself, officers, and that Good Samaritan, unfortunately, in harm's way.
And you know, Travis, you know, he did do that. And again, we don't know the circumstances surrounding this. We don't know if that guy had a medical emergency, just drove through it deliberately, or impaired. But thank God that Good Samaritan, who literally was told before he came up and went over there, he said, I was watching on TV and I saw it, so I ran over. He asked me, he said, do you have something that can break a window? And he just rushed back to his house, came back, jumped in that water, no questions asked, to save that man, you know. And that's the goodness of people, you know. We're enduring a lot right now with this storm, and some people are having issues like going into water, but we have those people, and that's the spirit of New Orleans, you know, always ready to help out, you know, to save someone's life right here like we just saw on live television.
Yeah, and we did see an officer. You said you saw an officer out there. There was one barricade. Perhaps this will there will be a renewed sense of safety and security, especially in that area, because this is not the first time we have seen flooding on canals. So perhaps this is a lesson learned. And in the future, maybe more patrol, more officers, and more barricades with lights, because it was so dark and maybe he didn't see it. And you're right, Travers. We don't know what the circumstance was. We don't know what made him go the wrong way, drive past the barricade, despite the fact.
You just joined us about 30 minutes ago. You watched a rescue on live TV. Somebody drove around a barricade. They shouldn't have done that at the underpass right there at Canal Boulevard in Lakeview in a pickup truck. The truck was stuck, it was floating, and it was almost completely submerged.
It was the most dramatic rescue I have ever seen and covered on live TV. While praying for the gentleman, the driver who was in the vehicle, we don't know what happened and how he was able to get his car in the floodwaters. But Jonah Gilmore is live with the Good Samaritan who helped to rescue the man. And Jonah, I understand he cut his hand or got injured a little in the process.
Yeah, Sella, that man, Myles Crawford, did cut his hand. He used a hammer. You know, my heart is beating fast right now just watching that rescue play out in front of me. Scary moments for sure. But we have Myles Crawford right here who just jumped into action. Myles, let us see your hand. You just wrapped it up. I know you said you were watching online when all this was going down. Tell me, just walk me through what happened.
Yeah, well, I was just watching on TV, and I saw the cop car there, and I saw him back up, and I saw you with the red jacket. I was just kind of interested into what was going on. And then my brother texted me and saying that somebody had driven underneath the bridge. I was like, I'm sure it's flooded, because it always does. And so I went over there and see if y'all needed any help or anything, to see what was going on. And he said, yeah, we might. And I went and checked it out, and then saw that there was a guy in there, and the water was steadily rising. So I seeing if I could find anything to break the window. And so I ran back to my house, grabbed a hammer, ran back, and just went in there and got him.
And you jumped in that water, but I saw at one point that man kind of fell back and you pulled him back up. Talk about that moment where you had to pull him back while being in that water.
Well, I just didn't want him to go under or anything and get, I don't know if he's going to get swept away or if he knows how to swim or anything, so I just want to make sure that he was safe and brought him to shore.
And we were just talking before we got on camera. I know life-saving measures is your thing professionally. Tell us a little bit about what you do for a career.
Well, I'm an ER nurse at University Medical Center, and we do this every day, so it's no big. I mean, I guess it is a big deal, but it's nothing out of the ordinary, so to speak.
Did you by chance talk to the driver at all?
I did for a second. I just told him he needed to hurry up and get out of the window, that the water was rising, and he was just looking for things. I was like, no, we don't have time for that. Let's go.
I mean, what was going through your mind at the moment when you broke that window and telling him, like, we got to go?
Just get him out. Nothing in particular, just, had to get him out. I'm used to high stress, high level things on a daily basis. We deal with things like that all the time, so it was nothing out of the ordinary, like I said.
And honestly, a good Samaritan, I was shocked to see you. You just walked up, you kicked your boots off, took off your socks, and just jumped in the water.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't want my boots to weigh me down,
Well, thank you so much, Myles. We really appreciate you life-saving. Save this man's life live on television. We really appreciate what you did. Was simply amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you. And you guys, we know that there's now EMS on scene along with the fire department and NOPD checking the guy out now. We're going to go over there, but I can tell you again that water at the Canal Underpass is steady rising. We actually had to move the vehicle, although we were on higher ground, because that water is coming up, possibly trapping us. So I'm going to go walk over there safely, try to see if we can find out what actually happened, what caused this, and we'll be back to bring you more details as we learn more.
Yeah, Jonah, and let me just correct him right there. He said that was nothing out of the ordinary. That was extraordinary what he just did. Myles Crawford, ER nurse at UMC, you are one of the heroes of this storm by saving that person's life.
Thank you for risking your own life to save this gentleman's life. I'm sure we will hear from him more, but again, this is video of the moments how this gentleman was spared. With moments to go, you can see the pickup truck was slowly going underwater, and this Good Samaritan saw Jonah live on TV right here on WDSU and came out of his house, went through the waters, risked his own life
took a hammer
to rescue a complete stranger during Hurricane Francine. So thank you so much to Myles. He is a nurse as a profession, and we appreciate him and his heroic efforts.
Yeah, look, we're going to get more on this story. We're going to find out why that man drove around the barricade before.